Hi, everyone. I am your host, Brujo underscore Anthony 87. My name's Anthony. and I am a practicing Brujo and devotee of Santísima Muerte. Lives here in the San Gabriel Valley in California, East Los Angeles. And just wanted to say happy Halloween, happy All Souls Day, happy happy All Saints Day, man, All Souls Day, happy Samhain, and happy Dia de los Muertos. Just wanted to share my ofrenda, my ancestral shrine that is dedicated to my ancestors. This is my first time actually arranging, setting up an ofrenda for this particular time. Normally, I would just do a pagan ritual with fellow brujas and brujos around this time in a sacred space within a circle. I didn't get to do that this year because of my health conditions and stuff. So and COVID-19, obviously. And I am here. Just want to share my ancestral shrine. I showed it before in a previous video, so you might want to check that out just to get some ideas on how to set one up in your daily practice. But this one in particular is special because I am of Mexican descent. I am Chicano. I believe I'm fourth or sixth generation or something like that. So I was born in the Whittier Hospital. I grew up here though in the San Gabriel Valley. It's in general it's all called the San Gabriel Valley. Whittier, Pico Rivera, East Los Angeles, Montebello, and all of this area is considered the San Gabriel Valley. So I was born and raised here. I still live here. So, what is Dia de los Muertos? It is a blending of the two worlds of the ancient Mexica and the Spaniards' Catholic practice within their religion. When the Spaniards came here and raided and took over our land, they tried to eradicate all the beliefs of my people, of the ancient Mexica, which is very tragic and sad. Those ancestors are making me teary-eyed right now. Sorry, I'm very vulnerable, sensitive right now. So during this time, in general, around the 31st of October to November 4th, this is in astrological terms, the sign of Scorpio, when the sun is in Scorpio. It is the time between the worlds between the spiritual realm and the physical realm. Is the veil between those two worlds are thin at this time. Very powerful psychic and intense psychic energy is prevalent, and communication with your beloved ones, beloved dead, and the ancestors are very thin. So it's a very good time to communicate and do talk and to, in general, just do hechizos, spell work. It's a very excellent time because you get to talk to the realm of spirit more easily. And it's not only that too for hechizos. This is just in general in time for you to, for them to come back here on Earth for just a short amount of time to commune, and to spend time with us. Those who we miss who have passed away. This is time for us to honor and venerate to those who we miss. Um, so that's what Dia de los Muertos are. The the practices that the ancient Mexica did to honorate and venerate their dead. They were very much aware of, death, but they didn't see it as the way as the Europeans saw it, the Spaniards. We see it as a whole of Chicano Mexican descent. Um, we see death as a celebration of life. We don't see it as an infinite end, at least to some, those who are aware of the realm of spirit, and those who are spiritual in general. Death is not an end. It's not something to mourn. It's a way for us to. They're always alive within our heart by the memories that we have, that we remember while they were alive. This is a time of celebration to rejoice in memory and nostalgia, and tell them what we couldn't tell them while they were alive. Um, the seven directions are very prevalent in ritual and dance, especially with the Mexica dancers, where they dress in lots of garbs of feathered headdresses. Usually, it's a quetzal, a quetzal bird. Ooh, something's already here. Yes. Um, it kind of startled me for a moment, but I'm not surprised. I think they're just trying to tell me to wrap it up and get to the point. So, the seven directions are very prevalent. So, in the East, it's the sacred, correlations, correspondence to the East. It's the god Quetzalcoatl. He is the feathered serpent, the part of the precious twin. His precious twin is Xoloto. He's a dog-headed god, very much like Anubis in the Egyptian pantheon. So Quetzalcoatl is the father of all mankind, who gave us our first food, corn, maize, and it's a very sacred food. And corn is offered first to the spirits of the east, where the sun rises. So in ancient times, he was honored, and he is very associated with the planet of Venus. Venus is a very, very special, very important to the ancient Mexica. Those who don't know I never heard the term of Mexica. It is what history and textbooks say, and accidentally called us Aztecs. That was due to a mistranslation between the Mexica in the language of Nahuatl and the Spaniards. There was a mistranslation, and since then, it's been hundreds of years since that lie is still being passed around. We are not called Aztec. We are Mexica. Always. There, those ancestors who are in Mexico, they are very, very pissed about that still, but rightfully so. This was their land. It was rightfully theirs, that did not deserve to be taken away. So, that being said, anywho, they wore the feather plumed headdresses, usually with the loincloth of some kind. On their feet, they had some kind of gourds, rattles that are attached to the feet. So as they dance, the gourds evoke the spirits of the earth, and they also cleanse and purify, and they shake up the energies. that are in the air that are stagnant. So, anywho, that's the east. Then you have west, where Xoloto, the dog-headed god, is there. Also, Santisma Muerte, who is a blending of two, I love Barca of the Spaniards, the Grim Reaper, pretty much, and our ancient Mexica goddess, um, Miteca Cihuatl. Um, she was depicted as a woman, but with the mouth of a skeleton, the jaw of a skeleton. A little quick background story about her. One of her origins, I believe I read, was that she was she became a goddess. Her origin was that she was sacrificed as a young child to the gods, and then she became the keeper of the bones of our ancestors, the consort of Mikantikutli, Lord of Death. And both of them reside in the underworld, which we call Miklan. Within Miklan, there are 9 realms. You have the realm of obsidian. We have the realm of the waving flags. We have the realm of the dead, where they're always rest and transformation and transforming. We have the realm of the wind, who that blows like and as sharp as knives. Um, and there's the other names that I cannot remember for the life of me right now. I'm sorry. It was a long night. I couldn't really sleep. And then where Mikantikutli and Miteca Sawato, where they reside, is the realm where there is no chimney, and it's just filled with darkness and smoke. Keeper, where all the bones of the previous 4 worlds rest. The creation of our 5th world, with Quetzalcoatl and Tezcatlipoca, when they needed to make human beings, they came down from the heavens, the 13 realms of Omeyocan. They traveled down the middle road of our world, down into the underworld. They had to retrieve the bones of our ancestors of the previous 4 worlds. When they reached the realm where the Lord and Lady of Death, Migantigutli said, "You have come a far way from your travels. I'm surprised. I honor and admire you. What brings you from your precious tower?" Quetzalcoatl said, "We need the bones of our ancestors. We are making a 5th world, and we need the bones to make new human beings." Migantikutli, he's like, "New human beings? You destroyed the 4 other worlds because of your bickering and you guys didn't get along. Why should I give you these bones to make this new world? What makes this so precious than the other ones before us, before this world?" This time it was different because Tezcatlipoca and Quetzalcoatl finally they put aside their differences and they agreed to work together, to come together and not act so selfishly. That's what made this 5th world so special to them. But they needed the bones of the other human beings that lived before us. You have the 1st world, which is the world of Quetzalcoatl, the wind. So, the 1st wind You have the second world of water, which belonged to Telok, the god of rain and thunder. And during that time, there was a big, great flood. Um, that one is a phenomenon, really. You see within many different cultures and religions as well. They talk about a great big flood. Talk about Noah's Ark, etc., etc. And if you look at the canyons, the canyon in Arizona, you do see where lines, the indications of where water was high, and you do see those markings on the canyons and the mountains. The water was the water level of our oceans was very high. We had a big great flood. It's because one brother of the four Tezcatlipoca, of the four directions, one of them would be jealous of the other, so they got destroyed, and those as a result, that world in respect, the first, second, third, and fourth were destroyed. And our fifth world is was special because all of them came to agreement. They stopped and put aside their differences, and they actually agreed to get along and work together. So, Migante Gutli, he's like, well, if you want these bones, you're going to have to work hard for it. Only good comes through hardship. So go around through my chimney. Circle it 4 times. And at the end, when you're done with the 4th rotation, you're going to blow the conch shell. It's like a big shell. A conch shell. Once you blow through the shell, and we hear the sound from it, you may have the bones. If you don't, you will remain here in Mictlan, the underworld, and you will be mine forever. So they agreed upon it. This was Quetzalcoatl and Xoloto, their twin brothers, respectively, Quetzalcoatl in the east and Xoloto in the west. So they circle his chimney about 3 times. Migante Gutli played a trick on them. He knew that he planted the conch shell so that the conch shell would never make noise. He put bugs in it. He did something so where the noise can't come out from the shell. Mictecacihuatl, his wife, his consort, his queen, keeper of the bones, she did not want to give them away either. So she's like, are you going to stop them? Like, what are you going to do? She's like, Migante Gutli, he's like, no, they're not going to get away with it. Be okay. He had his warriors and soldiers. You could call them demons if you want to. He had them ready just in case his plans didn't work out. So, right where Quetzalcoatl and Xolotl, they were almost going to be finished. They reached the 4th rotation through his maze. When they got to the horn, they blow through it, and as expected, no sound came out from the conch shell. Quetzalcoatl had all the creatures, the animals, mainly butterflies, they came to his aid. So what they did is they came to inside the conch shell, and they were small enough to fit inside the crevices of this conch shell to unblock and unclog whatever was in there. And when they did, a bunch of butterflies sprang out from the conch shell. The sound was beautiful. It sounded like a choir of voices all in harmony. All colors of the rainbow came out from this conch shell. And they won. They won the test that Mikantikutli has put them through, and it wasn't an easy task for them to do. So this was a sigh of relief, the sound of creation about to begin. So Mikantikutli is like, oh fuck. So he hands the bones from the previous 4 worlds over onto Quetzalcoatl and Xolotl. As he was giving them to them, he was very hesitant. And as soon as they were out of his hands, Quetzalcoatl and Xolotl, they ran the fuck out of there really quick. And as they were running, they knew that Mikantikutli and Mitakasawato, they knew that they were going to have their demons, their servants, their warriors and soldiers chase after them to retrieve the bones back. Because there was no way that they were going to get away with that. So, as Quetzalcoatl was running with the bones of our previous ancestors, Mikantikutli, he's like, stop them. Dig a pit. Let him fall in the pit. So he may never have the bones. So they also send a quail to help distract Quetzalcoatl. As he gets distracted, a hole gets dug out in the path in which Quetzalcoatl is running. And as soon as he turns around and keeps on running, sure enough, he falls into this pit in this hole. And all the bones of our previous ancestors were shattered and broken. Saddened by this, Xolotl, his twin brother of the west, where the sun dies in the evening on sunset, Xolotl gives him comfort. He's like, you know what, brother? Don't worry. Since the bones are broken, let it be as it be. All the humans will just be different sizes. So that's an explanation of why all of us are very different. We all come in different colors, shapes, and sizes. Short and small, and big and gigantic. That's the reason how we came to be. And there was other gods and goddesses who assisted in creating us. I forget her name, but there's one where she grinds up the bones into dust, kind of like how if you see where people make tortillas from raw, by hand, by crushing and rolling it on the molcajete and the one that you roll with this roll. She had to ask for the blood of the gods. So Quetzalcoatl, Huitzilopochtli, Xolotl, Tezcatlipoca, and the other gods, they sacrificed their blood to be mixed with the powder of bones. And they had to breathe their breath of life onto this mixture. As soon as that, the maiden, the midwife of the gods, the goddess of the oceans and waters of the earth, gave birth to mankind and humanity. She is the reason why we have a lot of water within our bodies. She's like, go. Go off into the directions. Here is the water. Let the good remain, and let it remain in your body. Receive it. She said, Quetzalcoatl, here are your children. Go forth and take care of them. You have put them here on earth, a place of pain, torment, and penance. They are here. Guide them. Give them the necessities that they need here in life. You have put them on this plane where it's cold and cruel, but it's also filled with love. In Brujeria, true magic is neither black and it's neither white. It is both because nature is both. Life is both, loving and cruel, all at the same time, all at once. What matters is your heart, the heart of the witch, the bruja. Life will give a balance of its own. I hope you guys understand that. And another important myth of our people, the ancient Mexica, is how the agave plant, the mahuey plant, came into being. Quetzalcoatl fell in love with the goddess of the moon at that time. And her mother was the demon of the night sky with the stars as her children. So he invited her to have a good time and pretty much fuck. I don't mean to be rude, but that's just my favorite word. So, they're enjoying their time, dancing, drinking, whatnot. And the grandmother found out that she escaped. And she sent the stars, the children, to kill her. Tear her up to pieces. And Quetzalcoatl was saddened by this. And what he did, he commanded the sky, the gods, to make it rain. The different Taulocs of the four rains of the directions came to aid. So the ashes, he had burned her body. It was reduced to ashes, and the gods, the four Taulocs, made it rain. When the mixture of her ashes and rain came about to be, she was turned into the agave plant, which we get tequila, we get the fibers to make clothing, we get the spikes of the maguey plant, the agave, to make for needles, and to make clothing, to pierce objects and things, and the medicine that it provides. It is related to the aloe vera plant. It's a part of that family. The people who were old, who were aching in pain, our ancient people made pulque, which was pretty much a fermented alcohol, in which we get tequila from. It's called pulque. And it was used to ease the pain of old life. And that is the story of humanity. You'll often see Flor de Muerto, which is called flower of death, which we call it in English is called the marigold plant. Marigold flowers. I'll get a close-up on the ofrenda over here. This is Flor de Muerto, marigold flowers. And what made them be called the flower of death is because when you smell them, they do have like a bitter floral smell. I can't describe it to you. That's like the most best description I can give about it because you have to you have to have the flower in front of you to get an idea of what the fragrance and the aroma that comes around from them. You'll often also see what we call pan de muerto, which is day of the dead bread, and bread as an offering to santos in general and spirits is represents to ensure that you have good health and you have prosperity into your home. You have the sugar skulls here. Skull. Our ancient people, our ancestors, used real human bones, in the practice around this time to they place their skulls so we can retain their memory within us. Now these days it's not real bones because that's pretty sketchy. You don't want to invite, you don't know who the skull belongs to. So now they're made with powdered sugar and it's made into a paste. So when it dries, it's hardened and they shape it into the shape of a skull. Normally, your a beloved, someone who passed away, your beloved dead, their name would be written on top of the skull right here in honor and memory of them. And traditionally, a practice is you would take a bite of the sugar skull. So your memories and their memories are within you to remember. Um, you also will see offerings of corn because it is the first food of humanity. You will see coffee and pretty much copal incense or tobacco incense of some kind. And as the smoke rises, so will your prayers be lifted off so they can be heard and to purify the space and whatnot. You'll often will also see glasses of water. Glasses of water are to quench their thirst. They have traveled a long journey from their way from Miklan, the underworld, the realm of the dead. So they're very thirsty when they come here. So glasses of water are offered to the muerto. Um, it's also used to absorb and remove negativity in your home, and for you to receive their guidance and to share their memories with you. You will often always see too chocolate. Chocolate is the cocoa plant is a very sacred plant to the gods and to the spirits, so they can look favorably and kindly onto you and the sweetness of it. Candies, pretty much the same purpose as cocoa. Um, what else would you see? Salt. You'll also see a bowls of salt offered to the muerto to purify the space and to keep evil out. Um, Salt is very debatable because in pagan and brujeria spiritual practices, when we offer food to the ancestors, sometimes it's normally advised to not offer them salt because for some reason they cannot partake of the offerings. It's very debatable because it's weird because I guess it depends on what kind of practice you follow, what tradition you follow. But you will see bowls of salt, um, and pretty much anything that your ancestors or your beloved dead, whatever they enjoyed in life, is offered to them. So, for example, here, my grandpa liked Budweiser beer, and he liked sunflower seeds. He liked sweets, My mom just mentioned he used to like a beer that they don't make anymore. So that's an example of giving offerings that they once enjoyed in life. Um, I wanted to get a few more things, but I'm trying not to buy as much right now because Mercury is in retrograde. So, oh, apples. Apples you will see too. Um, uh, Apples are seen as a food of the underworld of Mictlan. You do see this in the myth, in Greek myth of Persephone, which she takes a bite of the pomegranate that is in the realm of Hades, and you so that is something that is to a phenomenon within uh, shared a common theme in different cultures too. What's another santos that they once honored and venerated in life? So here, I have a Saint Jude statue that once belonged to I believe my mom's aunt or aunt, something like that. Get a close me over here, and these are the owners that lived in where the house where my sister in. So I am honoring those too. You kind of want to remember the names of your beloved dead or ancestors. If you don't, I just generally just say out loud the ancestors who I do and do not know. I just leave it as that. Um, I'm trying to remember anything else that is typically on coffee. Coffee is another sacred drink for the gods of our ancient cultures. Um, what else? I'm feeling there's more that I can. Foods like beans and um, squash, tobacco, sweetgrass, things like that. Candles are a big one. Um, Candles are a big one, preferably white because white represents purity. It represents elevation. So so that the ancestors and your beloved dead are not earthbound. The light helps them to elevate and to move higher and to becoming a high ascended being. So they can transform, move on, and progress. It's like getting promoted in a way. You're getting elevated, and that heals them. What considers to be an ancestor, like in the movie Coco, they become an ancestor once there's no memory of them. Once no one remembers this particular individual, they are considered an ancestor. If it's somebody that you know, that's called your beloved dead. They are not considered an ancestor. Let's say I do have a nephew. His name is Daniel, and he's never met my papa, my nana, nor my grandpa or my grandma from my mother's side. So to him, those would be considered his ancestors. So that's a little terminology right there. I have the middle glass right there with the crucifix in there. It can represent Christ, but it doesn't. Um, Again, it is a blending of the two practices of Catholicism and the indigenous beliefs of Mexico. The cross is there to represent the four directions: north, east, south, and west. It is commonly made out of metal because metal is a conductor of electricity and energy. And water retains memory. Water is used also to a way for the spirit to communicate with you. So if you see bubbles within the water, that means it has caught and trapped negativity around you. If it's clear, that means you have good luck and blessings, beneditos, bestowed upon you. When you see if it's clear, you pour the water on your front step to keep and to attract those good blessings to you. If it's murky, that means there's not a lot of clarity and understanding in your life. There's a lot of murkiness around you. So when you have the murkiness and the bubbles of water, you flush it down the toilet with the hand of with some salt to cleanse that negativity and to protect it from ever coming back again. So that's a big one too with that. Um, I have the saint statues of Mary and Joseph, not to represent um, them. I don't. My beliefs are not strictly Catholic. They're not. I incorporate it into my practice in respect and honor of my ancestors, and for especially to Santísima Muerte, because Santísima Muerte is a Catholic. She is Catholic, so I incorporate those in respect to her, and that's very important too in setting up your Dia de Todos Muertos altar. Um, you want to respect the viewpoint and the religious and spiritual beliefs of your ancestors, um, because if they're still if they're still around as that same essence, that same person, they're not going to. They still have those viewpoints. They're still like us who are in the living. Those beliefs don't change, and it's like inviting over you having a party, and it's, let's say you have one here at your house. You want to make everybody comfortable and welcome, right? So that's why I at least have representations on the santos, because most of my grandparents were Catholic. So that's what those are. They don't necessarily represent santos. I have the Mary statue right over here, um, motif, or I don't know what they call it, to represent my mother's side. So that is a representation, ancestors from my mother's side of the family. It is placed on the left side because left is represent with feminine energy, the goddess energy. I have the Saint Joseph one right there to represent my father's bloodline, my paternal ancestors, the God energy, the male masculine energy. And the middle is to represent source, spirit, the creator, the divine, the supreme being in all its names, holy angels, your spirit guides, protectors, and the spirits that you honor and venerate. That glass of water is dedicated to that. So that's why normally you'll see this kind of setup. For me, that's what it represents. My spiritual viewpoints and beliefs. I would consider myself a pagan witch, a brujo, that incorporates a little bit of the indigenous and a little bit about to Catholic practices, to as in respect to the spirits and my ancestors who I honor and venerate. But you would call me a pagan practicing witch, and it's not a religious. Brujeria is not a religion. It's more of a spiritual practice and a way of life, basically. So over time it becomes very easy to incorporate into your everyday life. So on the point of waking up, you for me, I get up, make my bed, take a shower and whatnot, and then I go, as I'm getting ready for the day, I change the water out of their fuentes. the cups, and I light the candles to do a little short prayer, and especially to Santisma Marta. And you incorporate them into your life. It's like having people over. You invite them over, and they're living within your home. So during this time, you have Halloween, and then there's on the first day, I believe it's to the Santos, and then you have the second day that is to the dead. Then you have one for children who've passed away, and then you have the ones who are lost. Catholicism has the concept of purgatory, where those who were not baptized, those who didn't have people remember them, those um, who had mental illnesses, those who committed suicide, um, those who didn't receive baptism, those who weren't given a name for some reason. In Catholicism, they have the concept of people who had that, those people who fall under those categories. They were considered lost, wandering souls on the earth in this realm called purgatory. And purgatory is a Catholic term, but the beliefs of those that I mentioned goes, if it goes further back